now. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Facebook before we actually go to Facebook. So I know probably most of you are using Facebook already, either personally and or for work. You know already it's a social media networking site. It launched in 2004. It's got desktop and mobile versions. You can have friends. You can also have followers on Facebook. You can use the site to post, comment, share photos, articles, links, and video. It's a huge site for video. And if you are using video and incorporating video in your extension work on Facebook, you'll have higher engagement. You can also stream live video and broadcast. And we could even right now from this Zoom meeting be streaming this live onto Facebook and also YouTube. You can chat and message, and it supports a range of page types: personal, group, brand, business, and it's a major source of news. A lot of people get their news on Facebook. So here are some stats. Only Google and YouTube have more logins. 68% of Americans use Facebook. And one of the fastest growing groups of users are people who are 65 and older. 68% of monthly users check in daily. Americans average, this is astounding to me, 58 minutes a day. And the average visit is 10 to 12 minutes. So most of us, or many of us, are going there multiple times a day. And this is important to know, that the vast majority of people are also accessing Facebook via a mobile device. So why use Facebook? Everyone is using it. It's an important place to be. A lot of us don't like it personally, but we find it very valuable in our work. It's got lots of features and functions that are ideal for extension work. For example, the live broadcast and the stories option. And the fact that now Facebook owns Instagram really provides some efficiency there, because you can link to Instagram. There are publishing tools, and I'll show you those today, which also make it quite efficient if you're planning your work. It's got quite good insights and analytics, which is important for extension. We need to know who we're reaching and have information about that so that we know that our strategies are right. It's also a search engine. You can search people, tags, and places. Some of the newer features, and we'll look at these today, are the stories feature, which can serve as a secondary feed, the live stream, and there's some really nifty page features that we'll go over today. Now, really quickly about Instagram, because we're also going to go do an interactive session on Instagram. It's a photo, video sharing social network app, and it's now owned by Facebook. It wasn't always owned by Facebook. You can use the mobile app to shoot and post photos, videos, and stories. You can have followers, you can follow others. There is a desktop version, but it's mostly for browsing, and it has pretty limited functionality. So here are some stats. Only Facebook and YouTube have more logins, but 71% of 18 to 24-year-olds use Instagram. And 25% of smartphone owners use Instagram. And Instagram, even though it doesn't have as many people using the platform as some of the other social media tools and technologies, I think it's really played an outsized role in popular culture. And there is actually a pretty good new book out about the role that Instagram has had on our culture, and also a history of the company. It's kind of interesting. So we're going to go over the profile today, because that can be customized. We'll look at the stories feature. We'll take a look at IGTV, which is sort of Instagram's response to YouTube. And again, there's some efficiencies that you can affect by cross-posting with Facebook. So let's jump into Facebook. So the page that I'm going to use to sort of demonstrate today is a page called UC Food Observer, and it's a brand that I developed for the University of California, and so the page has been around for a while, but I'm not as active as I used to be on it. But I want to show you some of the things. So one of the things that people tell me all the time about Facebook is that it's really hard for them to navigate and to know where the features are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through where some of the features are and show you what they are. And for some of you, this might be pretty basic, but hopefully everyone will get like at least one new tip and thing that they can incorporate in your work. So the first thing that I would like to show you are the publishing tools. Now, recently Facebook has been giving people an option to update to a new version of the page. And you can update and try it. And then if you don't like it, you can actually revert. And I have to tell you, I feel the new format is really messy and really difficult to navigate. And I tried it for 2 weeks and then I went, I can't. And I got really stressed and I reverted to the old version. So I'm showing you what has sort of been the standard version. Okay, so here at your top bar, you've got your page, right? You've got your inbox. You could do a job posting here. These are your notification, insights, publishing tools. So if I go to publishing tools, it takes me to a different place. And one of the things that I think is, a good habit to get into if you can, is to basically schedule some of your content in advance, right? And so if you have a half an hour, you could go and schedule a couple of posts and maybe be done for the week, right? So I have no scheduled post, right? I'm not practicing that well. But here is where you could create a post. So you create a post here and you click on that. And then basically you write, post whatever you want. You could drop a link in. I'm going to put, this is just a test. And then you would have an opportunity to share now. Or if you click here on this calendar icon, you can actually schedule it for the future. And for some reason, my internet is super duper slow. And so schedule. And so what's really interesting is that it will show you suggested times sometimes, or you can customize your time, right? So I will schedule this for tomorrow at 11:30, and obviously I'm going to go in and delete it and then schedule a post. And so then, you've done basically a scheduling function that you could also do on a tool like Hootsuite. But if you can do it on Facebook, that's good too. Here you can see your stories archive, posts you may have scheduled, videos that you can cross-post, video library. I don't do videos on this page, but I manage another page as a volunteer, and we do a lot of video content. And one of the things that Facebook does, if you have a lot of video content, that's a fabulous feature, is Facebook enables you to create a playlist of videos. So you can have multiple playlists. So imagine if you were with the Master Gardener program and you had all this video content, you could create a playlist by season. You could create a playlist of videos around propagation or different things. Same thing with 4-H. You could do it by different projects. Really, really good feature. So I just wanted, to show you that really quickly. I'm going to go back to the page. I am going to show you insights. okay? So insights are basically analytics and metrics. And I think that Facebook does a really good job of doing this. You know, you can get a summary for the last 7 days or the last 28 days. There's also a way that you can get a summary for a custom period of time. But this is, you know, pretty good. It will show you the number of new followers you've gotten, the kind of page likes, your post engagement, your post reach. It's pretty impressive. You can go and look at individual posts and see how they're doing. And so let's go look at that. And this will give you an idea, if you're, you know, looking up here, about when people who are interested in your content are on and are looking at your page, right? So let's go look. So this is interesting. I posted this yesterday and the engagement has done pretty well. And so, you know, this is all organic. This is not boosted. So, you know, I'm actually pretty happy. This was a really interesting article about pandemic gardening in Portland, by immigrant populations, and how this writer, you know, basically didn't even notice, and then all of a sudden noticed this gardening activity that had been going on in her community. And so I'm pretty happy with that engagement. And so, you know, you can go through and look at posts. And so that might actually give you an idea about what you might want to post in the future. So I'm going to then go, you've seen insights. And I have to tell you, I think keeping track of the insights, what's great is that none of this data is lost. You can go back and reconstruct your insights. But I think, you know, once a month, sort of looking at your insights and taking 10 or 15 minutes, that's a really, really good thing to do. So let's go back to the front of the page. And again, remember, if you just click page, you're going to get back to the top of your page. So one of the things that I don't use on this site, because I don't do events, but that I think is a really wonderful feature, is the event feature. And the page that I do as a volunteer, we have a lot of events. And it's really fantastic, because if you're in an extension organization or program that's doing a lot of events, when you create these events and you go right here to the create function, see, you could do a live broadcast, you can create your event right here. You have an opportunity, and other people can go to the event and they can invite their friends. And so that's a really effective way to sort of get a grassroots spread. So I would encourage you, even for virtual events, to consider using the event function and sort of playing with it and seeing what happens there. So I talked a little bit about playlists. So, you know, Facebook does really well with video content, and a lot of videos are uploaded to the site and shared. Again, this is not part of my work with the Food Observer. I just don't do that kind of content creation. But the way that Facebook is set up right now, you know, it has your video section right at the front, at the top, where people can see it. And so you could actually choose a video from one of your videos on your page to display at the top of your page, to sort of put that content front and center for people. Here's where you would create a playlist. And so that's a really good feature. So think about using that. And again, you can live stream from Zoom to Facebook and YouTube. So if you're doing a Zoom, you know, event for cooperative extension, consider trying to, you know, go and use that option to go live stream on Facebook. It would be really interesting to see what happens. So another thing that I'm going to show you is in the settings. So a lot of us don't go to the settings, right? But one of the things that I want to look at are page roles. And so in extension, when we set up these pages, a lot of them we had in our organization a number of Facebook pages that were sort of abandoned because people had left. So really, it's a really good practice, if you can, to make sure that you have other people who are assigned administrative or editorial roles on your Facebook page, so that if something happened and you had to be out of the office or you were unavailable, that someone could get in there and post content. So that's just sort of a best practice right there. And so I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Here is where you can connect to Instagram. And that is it is a way to have some sort of efficiency for some people. Some people that do social media like to post different things on Instagram than on Facebook, but you can absolutely cross post. And so this would be here under the settings. If you scroll down, this is where you would basically link your Instagram and your Facebook. Okay, so I'm also going to show you another sort of piece of Facebook that I think gets overlooked a lot, and that is basically the community. When you go to the community on the left navigation. So here, Facebook's really smart, right? It knows who my friends are. And so it's suggesting people that I could invite to like UC Food Observer. And I actually think my friend Liz Williams would love UC Food Observer. So I'm going to invite her, right? So there's that sort of things. These are friends of mine who have already liked or have visited my Food Observer page. Facebook invites me to create a group to build community around your page. And there are so many options for Facebook groups. And one of the options that I'm seeing some people in extension use for Facebook groups is they're creating a group and then doing something, making the category of the group a social learning group. So these groups basically are closed. There are different ways that you can structure them, but you can basically have people sort of request to join the group, and you can have questionnaires where people have to answer a series of questions, and then you approve them into the group. But one of the things that's really fabulous about if you have a group and you've classified it as a social learning group, is there is a feature in Facebook called units. And it was really interesting when Facebook added it. It was basically, kind of like a really rudimentary online learning system where you could actually post content in different units or categories. And then you could even sort of track people as they worked through each of the units. And it was really interesting because I was first became aware of it because I, as a volunteer, manage a church's Facebook page. And Facebook sent out this big mailing to faith communities because they viewed it as sort of like a tool that faith communities might use for like things like online Bible studies or things like that, I suppose. But what's happened is that now Facebook has just been promoting it for education because it's really clear that it's a really good tool for organizing educational activity. And so I wanted you to see that. Now, Facebook, again, provides all these opportunities for you to build your audience, right? And so take advantage of those, right? Any opportunity to do that. So here's another way that you can build your audience. So if you go to notifications, so when you go there, look at this. This is so interesting. I didn't know about this for the longest time. So when people react to your link, you have an opportunity to actually go and invite them to like your page, right? So I'm taking a look at the post and I'm going, okay, so 20 people reacted to this. And so, I'm not sure why it's not letting me do it. Typically what it does is it pops up a little screen and you can just go and click invite, invite, invite. And so I'm not sure why it's not doing that, but you do have an opportunity to do that. So one of the things too that I think is kind of low-hanging fruit is a lot of us don't actually complete the About Us page. And so it's always a good time to go and look at your About page. And would there, if your cooperative extension office is just doing a virtual operation right now, that might be a good thing to update in your About page, right? So that you don't have your office hours posted still. So make sure that your About page is done. So I don't actually enter a phone number because the phone number would be my cell number. So I don't have a phone number, and my location is listed as downtown Oakland because that's where the office of the president is. So that's actually not really my location. So another thing that I want to show you is, let's see, we've already gone over the videos. All right, settings, top, okay. This is a really interesting feature. It's been around not that long. It's not entirely new, but it's underutilized. And this is what's called video cross posting. And so again, where I found it was I went to the settings menu, drop down, and it's on the left navigation. So what you can do is many of our extension organizations, we have multiple Facebook pages, right? And so this would give you an opportunity to basically, you message, another organization or another unit in extension, but the cross-posting feature allows you and another page to post video on each other's behalf. And so you have to add the other page and you control the videos. You don't have to, they can't automatically post, but think about how you could expand your reach. Or if you're doing an event in cooperation with a community-based organization and you have video content, you could be, sharing videos and things like that. So this is a really, really good feature. So just wanted to show you that. Now, really quickly, I'm going to check the chat to see if there are any things that I'm missing. And then we're going to go to Instagram. Yeah, thank you, Gina. That's right. You click the likes at the bottom of the page. How do you invite people to follow you? Okay, Marsha, I'll show you that. And Sarah, it does not share all the videos and the content. The cross-posting feature, you still have an option. It's like when someone tries to post to your timeline, many of us have sort of like the timeline permission set up. You can do that. Kim, your question, can you talk about numbers? The hashtag 20, can I run through privacy settings? Yeah, okay, the hashtag 20 plus in the inbox. Oh, this just means, Nancy, that I have like 20 things in my inbox. Okay, Kim, hashtags. Okay, so let's run through hashtags really quickly. And again, if I don't get to everything today in the chat, I promise I'll go through and pull out the questions. Um, and so really quickly before we go to Instagram, hashtags, photos. Oh, good question. So here's a question. At some point, can you comment on how the professional page intersects with our personal accounts? Very, 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 very good question. Okay, so here's what I would say about that is I think, you know, extension people, we live in communities, we're part of communities, right? And I think sometimes our professional and personal identities blur, but people are individuals and they have different degrees of sort of comfort or discomfort with how those identities blur. I can tell you that when I was starting out on Facebook, I made what I now regard as kind of a strategic error, which was that I just bundled everything in. And I didn't sort of distinguish. And so I feel sometimes that my Facebook page is, my personal page is kind of unwieldy. And what I did a couple of years ago was I actually created a separate Facebook page that's an author page where I share information about my book and more sort of specifically like food and gardening and agricultural content. We've got one advisor in our office who is really very carefully cultivating and developing this very strong and effective online presence where he is, he posts a little bit about his family life, but he mostly posts about things related to horticulture because he's a horticulturist. And he's actually got clientele that are following him. We have another extension advisor or agent in our office who is very firm about I have my program page, which is livestock and natural resources, and his personal Facebook page has a very minimal, sort of tightly locked down following. So I think that people have a comfort level. I would err on the side of caution because once you've opened it up and you have clientele as personal Facebook friends, you can't dial that back, right? So I would really think about what your purpose is and why you're here and what you're hoping to accomplish. And I hope that answers your question. Okay, so hashtags. Let's search a hashtag. And this is for my friend and colleague, Kim, who's online. So Kim, if you go up to the search bar or anyone and you enter your hashtag in right there, so it gives you an opportunity to sort of, do you want to see posts about science communications? Do you want to see people who might have that hashtag in their profile? Photos, videos, stuff on the marketplace? No, don't do the marketplace. And then you can also filter the results here. And so I'm just going to say, you know, what people, oh, that couldn't find anything. Okay, and that may actually have to do with my settings. So, okay, so here our post. My friend Faith Kearns is an expert science communicator. And so she's got that hashtag in this post. This is my friend who is a medical researcher, Amgen. She has that in her post. So I can see where my friends, at least, so you can use it to search. And again, there are lots of ways that you could use this. So someone asked to take a really quick look at settings and privacy. So one of the things that I like to do, but it's not always possible in extension, is I really like the two-factor authentication. That if, for security, that if there's a login and I've logged out and there's a login from a different device, that it wants a code that's sent to my cell phone. I really like that. That's not always possible with extension because we may have multiple people in different roles on accounts posting. But these are the privacy settings, not for my personal page. These are the settings for my public UC food observer page. People can contact my page privately. Only people who have a role on my page can tag photos that are posted on it. And that's, to me, really important. I've got my profanity filter set to strong. Because I work for a university, I don't block words from a page, right? I mean, it's a public space. My page is shown to everyone. There's some organizations that have pages that would put age restrictions on. Say that you're a local tobacco store, you're going to have your page restrictions set to only people who are over 18, right? Page location, there are all sorts of settings. My personal privacy settings are actually quite tight. I think that's just something that I don't want people posting on my timeline. So there was a really nice response to this about one individual has just shared with me that in their county, they have a team profile linked to our page. What a great idea. And occasionally with permission, that they tag educators' personal pages if they've done the activity. But they're doing it with permission. And Danielle's pointed out absolutely that similar to cross-posting, you can also co-host events with other pages, which is a wonderful feature for extension organizations. This is so good. And again, I'll take all of this chat and I'll put it in some sort of document. So really quickly, we're going to go to Instagram. So here's